Get in there, Burnley. Hopefully you can all hear me. What a fucking result that is. You'll forgive me if I keep looking over there because I'm obviously paying attention to this. It's on the TV behind me. My camera's doing that thing again where it freezes. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the fucking show. But fucking brilliant. I'm buzzing with that. The clarets were fantastic. I'll tell you what, before we bring the first guest in, I'll just give my thoughts on the game. First off, I thought we were poor. I thought they were just better than us. They were better. They were stronger. They were faster. And we struggled to create anything, didn't we? And I thought, we'd do well to win this game. But then, of course, second half, we were better. Jackson changed the tactics a few times. I don't think Jay or Vidra worked on the wing. I thought them two had very similar games, but Vidra scored. So people are obviously buzzing with Vidra, as am I, obviously. But I did think that was, is one of his best performances, if I'm being honest with you. I thought he was poor on the wing. I thought Jay were poor on the wing. We missed Maxwell, and Maxwell has been poor, but he's got pace and he offers an outlet. And I feel like we missed him today. We're getting some comments in. Ryan Collins says, lads, we are staying up. Call it work. Time to fuck off. You're on it till the end of the season. I might do that. I'm self-employed though, so I will lose loads of money. Mike Green says, ever since I subscribed to the channel, you've not lost a game. Just make sure you do not unsubscribe then, mate. Definitely. Resurge says, who is Josh? I've just seen join the room as well. So Josh, I've seen you. Says, I'm tempted to come on. You can come on. If you want to come on, anybody. Mike Green, I've seen you come on. Message me on Twitter, Mike, and I'll send you the link. The True Red says, what a win. Liverpool beating Everton right now is a much sweeter taste. Yes, they are still beating them. Oh, corner swung in then. Could have been 2-0. Laura Breeze, good to see Laura in the chat, says, we are buzzing. The Clarets are staying up. Sean says, audio good, thank you. And Quilter, good to see a name, an OG name in the chat, says, Vault has 2 goals and 3 assists in 15 games. He's been quality and he's not even hit full form. I agree with that, but his finishing has left me a little bit, but, like you say, 2 goals, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, Simon's not here today. His little boy's not well, so get well soon, Austin Bear. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. I've got 3 guests currently lined up. If anyone else wants to come in, please feel free to come in. So I'm just going to bring the guests in one by one, if that makes sense. Hope that's okay with you all. And then we'll just do it that way. Laura says she'll come on, which is at the pub. Come on from the pub, I don't know, man. But I'm going to bring in first our favourite American claret, and it's Jimmy Carpenter. Here he is. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great.
USA.
Yeah, hey, we're enemy World Cup. That's all.
Yeah. So how much did you get to see the game then?
Yes, I did. It was 9 o'clock kickoff here. I like the early kickoffs.
Yeah. So what do you think of it? What do you think of the match?
First half we were a little slow.
Yeah.
Jay playing out wide just isn't right for him and for us. We'd obviously missed the pace. But halftime, obviously, everything changed in the second half. So, just little tweaks and everything changed for the good. In the midfield, Cork and Brownhill are just a phenomenal duo.
Yeah, they're so much better. Don't get me wrong. I've been saying this to people for ages. I'm gutted that Westy had to basically have his ankle turn 180 degrees for us to change the midfield. But I'm glad we have changed the midfield. We've been an advocate of Cork and Brown in the middle on this page for ages. And you know what? I'd have even had Cork and Westy. I think Cork is the missing piece. So I'm buzzing with that. But yeah, I agree with that, mate. Good point. I agree with that. I want to touch on what Quilter just said as well. Vault. What are your thoughts on Vault so far? Because some people are getting frustrated with him, but the stats don't lie. He's obviously done very well.
I think he's done well. Obviously in a new league, he's never played in England, so that's a change. Well, but he's just a motor. Like, he just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That I just like that. You didn't get that out of Wood at all. I
do feel like I like Val, and I've stuck up for him before, but I do feel that we're not getting the best out of him yet. But that's our fault. I think we're getting a bit better with him now that Dyche has left and we're trying to play more football. But I think sometimes when you just hoof it up to him, he's quite poor in the air for a lad that's 6'6", innit? But it's one of them. You know what, mate? I've not spoken to you since the Dyche sacking. What were your original thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on it right now? Because 7 points out of 3 games, it's kind of looking like the right decision.
I was surprised, obviously. I woke up to it because it happened early in the morning.
It was like 10 a.m. here, so it must be like
Yeah.
5 a.m. there.
And Deitch is sacked. I'm like, okay, well, something happened because it happened on a Friday. It happened just a few days before West Ham, and it was just
Yeah,
weird
true.
time. And at first, I was like, I thought we were done, obviously, but then I saw us play against West Ham. We should have gotten 3 points, but we didn't. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise because the players have obviously responded.
Yeah, I agree. But are the players? It's what I look at it now, and I look at the Brighton game. Sorry, not the Brighton game. I'm just saying Brighton because I've seen a Brighton fan in the chat. The Brentford game, the Norwich game. They were two games that were very close to each other. They looked like they weren't playing for him anymore. I'll be honest with you. But now they're playing like they're looking like it's weird. Like you look at all the stuff they've said in the press conferences and the interviews and stuff afterwards. They've all mentioned the word freedom. So that to me, that tells me a story that they are happy. Not happy that he's left, but they feel a bit happier that he's left. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think a good example of a person playing with freedom is Dwight. He's played
Yeah,
great.
100%. I were going to mention Dwight.
Better on the right-hand side than the left-hand side. He's more dangerous, I feel like.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? We're class against West Ham, even better against Southampton. Probably a little bit quieter today. Sorry. Well, not quieter, just maybe his end product wasn't as good, but he's still getting in the game, and that's what you want Dwight to do.
Well, he played the through ball to Wow, and Wow squared it up to.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, he's been honestly since Dyche has left, Dwight has been sensational. He's been really, really good. Before I let you go though, mate, obviously I know you'll probably sit in and listen and stuff. I might bring you back in at some point. I will quickly before I do this, bring the league table up because I want to start asking people. So, boys, oh, that's the wrong thing. Remove that. I didn't mean to do that. That's the wrong thing. I want to bring the league table up and ask everybody the same question about. Well, it's obvious what it's going to be about whether or not you think we're going to stay up. So I'll start with you, Jimmy. The league table is there on your screen now. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, you've probably already seen the league table. We are out of the relegation zone for the first time since October. We are 17th on 31 points. Everton on 29 and are still losing 1-0 to Liverpool. It should be about 4 or 5, though. Let's be honest. Come on. But we're out of it. We're 2 points behind Leeds. We've got to go to Palace tomorrow. Do you think we are staying up? Yes or no?
if Leeds don't get anything tomorrow, I think we're for sure staying up.
Yeah. If you look at Leeds' fixtures, they have to win tomorrow. I feel like Leeds have to win tomorrow because they've got something ridiculous like City, Arsenal, Chelsea after that. That might not be exact, but it's 3 of the top 6 teams. So they're going to lose the next 3. So they need to win tomorrow.
Yeah, if they win tomorrow, I think they're safe.
Yeah.
And if we win Saturday against Watford, which, I mean, we got to, I think.
It's not beyond. If we play like we did today and Thursday, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it?
Right. If we beat Watford, it puts us on 34. We're almost safe, I think, at that point.
Yeah. Honestly, I think 37 keeps you up this season. There's been so many polls. Nobody's including Palace in the conversation because they're on 37 points. But if we win, like you say, 2 more games, that's us on 37 points. So fingers crossed, then that's us safe.
And we still have Villa twice. So
And Villa are poor.
Yeah.
So you think we're staying up?
I think if Leeds don't get anything tomorrow, I mean, maybe a draw, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, I'm working at Leeds tomorrow.
Yeah. So I think okay, because Everton they're not getting anything today. They put 11 people in the box pretty much today to try to stop Liverpool and didn't work. And I mean,
8 minutes left yet, mate. Don't jinx it. 8 minutes left yet.
I'm trying to, but I really don't think they're going to get anything.
No, I agree.
And Chelsea, Chelsea should handle them. Is that at Goodison or at?
It's at Goodison, but Chelsea's home form is worse than their away form. They are better away from home, so I do think they'll be all right. Yeah, Quilter says, didn't realise we could still drag Aston Villa into the thick of it. I agree, but for Aston Villa to be dragged into it, I think they have to lose every single game between now and the end of the season. I think if Villa go down, they've got to lose every single game. And I'm not sure that will happen. They got a good point yesterday at Leicester or against Leicester. I can't remember. But But yeah, Matt Lawcock's in the chat. Matt, you were supposed to be coming on. What's happened to you? I don't know where you've gone. You can still come on if you want. I've sent you the link, mate. It says, Joe, when Burnley is staying up. Yeah, I did say on FansBet. Hopefully FansBet forget that if Burnley stay up, I'll have to do a dance on TikTok.
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Well, I hope that injury isn't too serious, because I think we need him against Watford.
Is that to Maxwell? Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, Maxwell. I hope that knee injury isn't too.
Yeah, it was weird, weren't it? Because he get in Liverpool 2-0. Come on.
There we go.
That's that one done. Live update here on Turfcast. Liverpool 2, Everton 0.
That's another thing. Goal difference, I think, might become a thing too, like a big thing. So
yeah. Well, I were hoping they'd get battered today and help us with goal difference, but it's not kind of happened as much. Getting comments in the chat now saying 2-0, get in. So that's that one dead. But yeah, Jimmy, going back to what you just said then, I'm not sure. I don't know what's happened with Maxwell. Obviously, I put the news out before the club did about Maxwell's not playing today, but I don't know what's up with him. I don't know how bad it is. So I can't really comment on that. But yeah, he limped off a little bit against Southampton, didn't
he? Yeah.
But it didn't look too bad. Just talk you through the goal here. Is that Henderson ball in? Oh, it's an overhead kick. Oh no, it's not. It's a shit overhead kick, and it goes in, and then someone heads it in on line. So it's a overhead kick from Diaz, bounces into the edge. Is that Thiago Origi? I don't know who it is. But yeah, Jimmy, 2-0 to Liverpool. So the Clarets are definitely, it is Origi. The Clarets are definitely going to be out of the relegation zone tonight and for the next week. That's got to be a massive psychological boost, hasn't it?
Yeah, especially since we've been in it since October. That's
exactly.
Huge. It's going to affect big time because this is the first time they've been in the drop. So
they're going to be shitting themselves. Got a little boy here. Don't know what he's doing here. Told him not to come back in. But yeah, Jimmy, thank you very much for coming on. I will get someone else on now. But Jimmy, if you want to, feel free to stay. I might bring you back in later. I might not. Or feel free to listen on YouTube. It's up to you. But thanks for coming on, mate. I always appreciate it when I get overseas Clarets views. It really means a lot, mate.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Cheers, mate. See you in a bit, mate. So yeah, updates like I've just said. Little boy's gone now. Updates like I've just said. Liverpool are winning 2-0. So that's us definitely out of the relegation zone for the week. I don't know, corruption just happened at Anfield. I've not seen it, to be fair, so I can't comment. I doubt that's the case. But I'm going to bring someone else in now. I'm going to bring Dan in because he's a regular on the show and Dan knows how the show works. Dan, you must be buzzing. I'm buzzing.
Mate, I'm struck. Honestly, I sound like Frank Bruno after that game. I'm just
it's okay.
I was just over the moon. It's all right. I'm just over the moon. Absolutely elated. Cracking win. As you said, as it was already said, first off, we were poor. Wolves pretty much had a game plan. If they can utilise us on the wings, if they can cut out our threat from the wings, then obviously it's going to be easier for us. However, easier for them, sorry. But in the end, we prevailed. We stuck with it. We stuck by our guns, and we got the result. Just, absolutely fantastic. And same as Thursday, there was an absolute buzz around the stadium.
I agree. The atmosphere was class, weren't it? The atmosphere was class again. The atmosphere was class. I think it's an Everton fan in the chat. I don't know. He's saying Liverpool should have had 2 reds. I've only watched the first half, and then I missed 30 minutes of the first half, and then I've been doing the live, so I've not seen that.
Liverpool had 11 reds. They had 11 reds, and they've got them 2-0. Get in.
There's one pen clear to Everton not given. Is that the one in the first half that was a clear dive? I'm not sure. Quick question for you, Dan. Matt Lawcock says, do you sit in the cricket field end near the back?
I was tonight. Yeah, I was today. I sit wherever I can grab a ticket pretty much. But most of the time, it's pretty much at the back of the cricket field.
Fair enough. Thoughts on Val? I've talked to Jimmy about it. Quilter's in the chat saying he's done very well and stuff like that. But he gets a lot of stick. He gets a lot of stick, not too much, like not to like fucking Barnes levels, but he gets a lot of stick, and I just feel like he's done all right. What do you feel about him so far?
Yeah, he's a bit missing games. I think he's still trying to find the Burnley way. I think obviously getting. I do think that he needs a good pre-season under his belt. finally get to know how we do things.
Yeah.
He's still pretty much adjusting, and I just hope and pray that we can get the best out of him. His all-round gameplay is fantastic. I mean, the effort he had in the first half, where he's chested it down and it's just rolled down his shin. For me, I thought the ball hung in the air that much. He even could have, sacrificed stepping back 2 paces to hit it on the half volley. It seemed to just hang in the air for that long. But absolutely fantastic performance all round, and can't fault Val because we could have potentially even had a second. He was dangerous today. He was dangerous when we needed.
Dangerous. My only criticism of his is his finishing isn't that great. But when I watched him in the Bundesliga, my thoughts on him was, he's a good finisher. Whether, like you said, the Premier League's a bit faster, I don't know. But someone's put a comment in. Danny Ward says, Connor Roberts looks like a man reborn. I agree. We've already spoken about Dwight. I spoke about Dwight with Jimmy.
Yeah.
But Connor Roberts, he's exactly the same. I'll fully be honest. I'll put my balls on the table and I'll say I wasn't his biggest fan.
We all said it. Me, you, and Simon said it, didn't we?
Since Dice has left, I feel like he's another one. He's got more freedom to push on and do more of his thing. And I feel like he's class at the minute. Honestly, he's looking like the buy of the season at the minute. If he continues what he's doing into next season, 2.5 million for him is an absolute steal.
Massively. As you say, it's a difficult one because today Wolves tried to alienate us on the wings, and you could see we were halted at about halfway. So to eventually be able to open them up a little bit and start getting that down the far side, he's been a breath of fresh air. I actually thought when Lawton came on a couple of weeks back, I thought, this is what we've been needing. But it seems since Dash's departure, Roberts has come up trumps.
Talking of corruption at Anfield, I agree with Laura. I was just watching something then. Richarlison should have been sent off for something then. It's the 90th minute. They've already lost, so who cares? But if he'd have been sent off, 3 games out.
Referee should have just looked at Richarlison and said, your hairdo's shit, mate. Off. Sent off.
Not even his hairdo, just everything about him. Just everything about
it's just the arrogance, isn't it?
I know there's a few Everton fans that listen to this, but even they must know that Richarlison is a dick. Someone mentioned in the chat, I want to talk to you about Collins. Sean Barnes says, I know it's not news. You don't need to be news in here, mate. You just chat. We'll talk about it. Excuse me, but Collins is looking absolutely incredible. Catching strong feelings for Roberts too. Yeah, we've just discussed Roberts, but Collins, he looks like an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. If I'm being honest with you, if Tarky stays, which he isn't doing, we all know he's not staying, but if Tarky stays, and this might be a controversial opinion, at the minute, I don't see how Ben Mee gets back in the side, but Collins is absolutely class, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm with you. I said it today. I said, how can, even if Ben Mee does come back from injury, where does he slot in at the moment? Everything seems to be working. The both of them seem to have a clear understanding. 20 years old, only just getting his first crack at international football. Exactly. And he's an absolute Rolls Royce, as you said. So the performances he's putting in, just being able to cut everything out. It's not even like he's nervous as well. It's not even like, you know what? Being at Stoke probably served him well, taking those hard knocks and stuff in the Championship, especially when they were languishing and they had to try and help themselves around mid-table. So to come here and play with a purpose, the man's been emphatic. Probably one of the breakthrough stars of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to bring in something that Matt's just said, and I completely agree with it. Tarky has been leading that line like a fucking god, though. So much more vocal than Ben Mee. The last bit, kind of agree with it. I think they're both vocal in similar ways, but the point I brought that in is because he got so much stick early in the season, because we've all been knowing he's been leaving for a while. Everyone's like, he's not playing for us anymore. He can't be arsed. But you can't say that about him anymore. He was class against Southampton, class against tonight, class against West Ham. He has proven to people that he does still care, I think.
Yeah, I were the same thing. I thought as soon as the January window shut, it was almost like he thought, right, I've not got to move over 2 windows now. It's end of contract and that's it. We'll take it from there. So let's put in performances and see where it takes me club wise. So for me, that was my initial thinking, that he's thinking, right, I'll play out my skin to see what sort of clubs come for me. But I don't give a shit. And whether if that is the case, as long as he keeps putting in those solid performances and being a natural leader and stepping up into Ben Mee's role, then I've got no problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's proved. I agree with you. Maybe he is playing because he wants a new contract at a better club, but whether he is or not, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's showing to me that he does care. I think he's showing to me that he does care. The breaking news is that the Liverpool game is full time. So I will quickly try and bring it on your screen now, and we will look at it. Hopefully, it's still there. There we go. There it is on your screen now, or it will be. There you go. Liverpool 2, Everton 0. So the Clarets are officially out of the relegation zone for the rest of the week, or at least until Saturday or whenever. Everton. But they have got Chelsea next. They have Chelsea next. So honestly, if we play Watford away, and we lose that, and then they can beat Chelsea at home, then we kind of, again, they do deserve to be in the relegation zone. But we need to take this form into that Watford game. And I'll tell you what, me and you, Dan, we both said the same thing like a couple of weeks ago. Like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this. I think we're going down. But I was having a conversation with somebody today. Robbie, if you're still in the chat, I was having a conversation with Robbie. And I said to him, like, if Leeds get beat against Palace, then they've got 3 very difficult games coming up. Again, like I said earlier, they've got someone ridiculous, like City, Arsenal, Chelsea. That might be wrong. That might not be exact, but it's someone like the big 3, like 3 of the big 6, sorry.
Yeah.
I actually said the words to him. Well, by the time they play their final 2 games of the season, because they're winnable, we could be out of sight. That's what a win does. That's what a few wins does, doesn't it? Like, it's not.
It does, yeah.
It sounds
does. It's massive down there.
I was saying the words resigned. Now I'm saying the words out of sight. That's how much it's changed.
It has. It has. We just, for me, I'm same as you. I did say exactly the same to my mate today, but I also sort of went back on my word a little and said, from a player perspective, you're probably thinking, let's just keep our eye on whoever's above that line, whoever's above us. Yeah, think about that.
I agree.
Just think about
I agreed at that point, but now I'm looking up again. I'm seeing Leeds are 2 points away from us. And Matt Lowcock in the chat says, is Chelsea their game in hand? They don't actually have a game in hand, Matt. It's just because they haven't played this weekend. So they're playing tomorrow, then they'll play Palace, and they'll be on 33. There's no games in hand left, I don't think, anymore, apart from us and Everton.
Everton have one. Everton will have one,
yeah. You're right, Everton 32, Burnley 33, so we don't have one anymore. We've got one on a few, but no one down there, so no one that we need to worry about. But Dan,
won't Everton's game in hand be the second Leicester game?
Probably
they play Leicester twice, don't they? So it won't surprise me.
Probably, mate. Yeah. Obviously, I asked Jimmy about this. I'm going to ask you. This is going to be one of the questions that I ask everybody. Thoughts on the Dyche sacking now? Right decision, or is it a bit too early to say that, or can we not really discuss that until the end of the season if we stayed up or if we've gone down?
It's strange because I'm sat here still thinking if we did go down, Dyche is the perfect person to take us back up.
Yeah.
But then I'm also thinking if we do stay up, you've got to look at the positives in terms of the managerial appointment. Who's going to come in and take us on as of next season if we are still a Prem club? So yes, you look at it now and you think, you know what, Alan Pace.
He has got some big bollocks, hasn't he? He's got some big bollocks.
Giant cojones.
Making that decision. Like, listen, but what I've said, Dyche shouldn't have got sacked, and I kind of maybe regret it a bit now. All the pundits have been saying Dyche shouldn't have been sacked, blah blah blah. There's the reason why Alan Pace is a multi-millionaire and we might earn 30-40 grand a year. You know what I mean? It's stupid. He has got some bollocks. He's made some decisions in the past that have made him become a millionaire, and he's just made another big decision that everybody jumped on. And I kind of feel like now it's, even if we go down, I think like now it is probably justified because we've had this, we're so much better all of a sudden. Or is it just new manager bounce? I don't know.
See, I don't know, because obviously all the rumours that go around, player revolt, is it somebody that, is it half the squad saying that it's gone stale, or promises that were made and they never got to, they never came to fruition? So I'm hoping if it is that, as I said before, you lace up your boots and we go for it. And we're actually starting to show that. I mean, the video that is being banded around on Twitter and stuff of Brownhill singing Burnley as he's walking up the tunnel and stuff. It's just makes you think there's such an aura around the place at the minute. And I'm currently in my little girl's room, which means we've gone from that. We have gone from that to that to that. Get in.
Yes.
Oh, I'm as happy as a pig in
shit.
Dan?
You know what, Dan? That seems a perfect place to end your sort of that thing. But if you want to stay involved, do. If you want to stay involved and just sit there, you can. Feel free to leave if you want to leave. Jimmy's still here. So I will get Jimmy. You know what? I'm going to get everyone in later on. All the guests. I'll sit
tight.
I'm going to get all of you in, and I'm going to get everyone. I'm going to ask you all the question all together. But thanks, Dan. Dan's staying in. I've got 2 guests coming up left. One's a neutral, so I'm going to get him first. Sorry, Josh. I know you're a Burnley fan, but I'm going to get the neutral in first so I can chat the neutral thing, then get back on the Burnley chat. But I do want to just say, Simon's in the chat. He says, me and Austin watching, and he says, Austin says, hi, where is it? There it is. Hi, Austin Bear. Hope you get better soon. As I said earlier in the chat, Austin's not well. Simon's a little boy, so that's why Simon's not here. So fingers crossed that Austin gets well soon. He's going to have to spend another night in hospital. He spent a night in hospital yesterday. But he said he's loving it because the doctors keep feeding him. So you keep getting food, Austin. But I'm going to bring the neutral in now, who is Mike. Mike, first of all, who do you support?
Newport.
Is it Man United?
Newport
County. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just because is your name Mike Green in the thing, and you got a thing that's red, so I just presume you're a Man United fan. I don't know what. Apologies if I've offended you.
No. There is a link with Man United with a lot of family members living in Manchester, so they have season tickets. So when Newport are not playing, I go there a couple of times a season. So there is a link.
Fair enough. Did you manage to watch the game?
I've seen highlights and I've listened to a bit because I was watching the Chelsea game and that was boring.
Yeah, well, they weren't on TV, were it? It weren't on TV. So unless you've got a perfectly legal streaming device,
so
really watch it.
I rung Burnley Football Club and they allowed me to have a direct feed from Turf Moor.
Yeah.
No,
honestly, mate, it is doable. It is doable. What were your thoughts on the game anyway, mate?
It's just great, isn't it? Because I said when I first subscribed, like I said, the opening comment, I can't remember. It was the Everton game when I first saw the channel. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And then you played either Southampton or West Ham. I can't remember which way it was after Everton.
West Ham first, yeah. Well, we played Norwich. We played Norwich since then. We got
it was Norwich,
battered against them, yeah. Then West Ham, then Southampton.
So you have lost once actually since I've been here, but Norwich is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the anticlimax of that Norwich game to Dyche being sacked to then the West Ham game, the Southampton game, the Wolves game, between all of it, it's basically like this sort of, well, you said, wasn't it, October, you've been in the bottom 3 since.
Yeah.
Well, we're there. We're more or less basically thinking, right, well, we're probably going to go down. Let's see what we can sort of get off between now and the end of the season, and sort of see where we can put ourselves in a position for the championship. Dyche leaves, and now you're not planning the championship at all. You're planning. Well, I'm not going to say it because maybe you Burnley fans will be cursing me.
Our arses are still a little bit like that. There's a Liverpool fan in the chat. He says, you are very welcome, lads. Liverpool fan here. I know you hate us, but maybe not for... You know what, mate? It's not Burnley fans that hate you. It's just me. And I don't even hate Liverpool. I just don't like some Liverpool fans. And I know I'm saying it to a Liverpool fan, but there's a Liverpool fan at work who is a typical Liverpool fan. And you know what I mean when I say typical Liverpool fan. I don't need to expand anymore. Plus, I worked in Liverpool for a bit and I met a lot of Liverpool fans and they're all arrogant bastards. But you, Jake, seem nice. Honestly, you do. But Mike, I do want to ask you about the Dyche sacking because you're a neutral. How did you feel about us sacking Dyche as a neutral?
It was, obviously, I know you see Burnley week in, week out. We all know the Dyche way of, Brexit football, 4-4-2, get the job done, and playing it like that. So my initial thought was, we're in a dogfight, and it just sometimes when you're in a dogfight, the best thing to do is not to be defensive. The best thing is to actually be creative, because then you're going to force the opposition to then come at you again, and then it gives you more space and stuff to run in behind. So I thought maybe they're doing it just to get a reset, and I knew you weren't going to get a manager. I actually said it when Dyche got sacked. I said they're not going to bring a manager in. It's going to be either the assistant manager or someone within the club to just take the role until the end of the season. And when I saw the statement and it was like 4 or 5 other members go with him, I was like, yeah, this is a lot bigger than just we need a refreshment around the club. So I'm wondering if there was maybe like a clash. I've heard rumours that he was.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumours that
was not matching Dyche's. But look, you were in the relegation zone with Dyche, named Michael Jackson is
Now we're
moonwalk.
not in the relegation zone. Oh mate, honestly, I'll say this: there's only like 40 odd people on the stream, so not that many. And all right, we'll get a couple hundred listening to the podcast and watching it afterwards. But that is the joke. If we stay up, right? I put a tweet out when Mike Jackson first got given the job, and I put a tweet out saying, "Oh, I can't be arsed with all these Mike Jackson jokes." And honestly, it went off, and I don't know how it went off. It had like fucking 150 likes and shit, and I'm like, that's not even that good of a tweet. But I've already decided that if we stay up, I'm going to quote tweet my own tweet where I say, I can't be arsed with all these Michael Jackson jokes, and I put moonwalking to safety or something like that and creating a GIF. So I am going to use that joke, but I already had it lined up, mate.
A thrilling end to the season when you're moonwalking away from relegation.
As Matt Lowcock says, there's only 2 Michael Jacksons. Only one of them's alive, and he's a claret. Jake Sinister says, Sinister. Sorry, Jacob, I've been pronouncing your name wrong all this time. Says, just please win all your games and send the blue shites down. I honestly, I would love it. But I think Leeds are in big trouble. I'm looking at Everton's games and thinking there's a few winnable games there. I'm looking at Leeds and thinking if they don't beat Palace tomorrow, then they are in big trouble because they've got 3 definite defeats coming up, and then they have 2 winnable games after that. But then the pressure will be on so much. Mike, just before I do let you go, because obviously you're a neutral, I don't want to keep you too long, but I do like getting a neutral's point of view. Do you think Burnley are staying up? And if you do, who do you think's going down? Oh, we don't like that question.
Staying up, yes.
Up the clouds.
I think it's an unlikely team that go down. I'm going to say Leeds.
Yeah, I you know what? I kind of agree. I don't know. I think if Leeds, it all matters tomorrow. What Leeds do tomorrow is massive. If Leeds can win against Palace, I think they'll stay up. But if they get beat against Palace, I think they go down.
Yeah, Palace are going to be annoyed after that semi-final in the FA Cup, which they didn't really turn up. And like you said, they've got Palace. I'm not too sure if it's at Palace or at Ellen Road. Sorry, but after
it's at Palace. It's at Palace.
Yeah, I think they've lost that. I think that.
No, I agree. I'm worried that they might have an FA Cup semi-final hangover. But obviously, you're going with the angle of they're going to be pissed off and they play really well.
It could be that.
Yeah.
Off. So they're going to go for it even more, or it could be the other way where they're like, oh, well, our season's done now. It's that was all that's left. We're not going to get Europe. We're just and that's the teams that Leeds, Everton, Burnley don't want to be playing. They want to be playing teams that have got something to fight for.
Yeah. Do you think Villa are all right? Because there's someone in the comments, Ujala, probably didn't pronounce that wrong, says if we beat Villa twice in there, I think if Villa get just one win, then they are okay.
Yeah, I think you said it after. I can't remember if it was you or Simon or Dan that said it after Southampton. They have to lose every single game, Villa.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think they do that. Yeah, I think they've just got enough already.
It's quite weird, isn't it? How the darling boy of the media, Gerrard and Lampard, are in a relegation battle together.
Exactly. There's not good managers, are they? There's not. Well, all right, Gerrard did well at Rangers. I will give him credit for that. And Lampard did okay at Derby. Yeah, true. I could. Well, they did win it. They don't win it for a while, but you know what I mean. Like this season as well, they're not winning it. But he came in and did well at first, but that's just the new manager bounce thing, isn't it? I think Villa are in trouble next year. Genuinely, I think it depends how much you spend. They've got a lot of money, to be fair, at Villa. Yeah. But Mike, thanks very much for coming on. It'd be good to get you on again if you want to come on. I know you're obviously quite regular in the chat now, so hopefully I'll see you again around, and then you can come on again after another win. Hopefully next week, after the Watford game next week, another win.
Well, I'll stick around for when you get everyone back on later. Then I'm free.
Cheers. How did Newport get on this weekend?
Lost at home to Colchester.
So sorry, mate. I thought we were going to give a double feel-good feeling then, mate.
You're fighting to stay in the league, and we're fighting to get out of it in the playoffs. We've got 2 games to go, 3 points off the playoffs. So,
yeah. Well, fingers crossed for Newport then, mate, and I'll see you around.
Right, I'll speak to you in a bit. I'll stick around.
Nice one, Mark. I appreciate that. Cheers, mate. There's been a few. We mentioned these shit Michael Jackson jokes, didn't we, earlier on? I'm just going to bring him in. Everyone's been putting these shit Michael Jackson jokes in the chat. I'll give you all your 5 minutes of fame. Michael Jackson, a smooth criminal, says a true red. Terrible. Where's the other one gone? Here we go. BFC Liam 1 says, we need to look at the man in the mirror. It's looking bad. It is bad. You can't use bad twice, mate. It's used bad 3 times. Need to look at the man in the mirror. It's looking bad. It's bad. Come on, it's bad. That's Liam. Come on, mate. You're better than that, Liam. You're better than that. When people crack Michael Jackson jokes, at least try and say, Man in the Mirror was all right. Smooth Criminal was okay. Moonwalking to Safety, you know, a play on words is good. You've just said bad 3 times. That doesn't count. You just said bad 3 times, Liam. So, Liam, if you're still in the chat, which I think you are, because you just mentioned something about Villa, you need to do better. Get a better Michael Jackson joke going. I'm going to bring... Oh, is that the actual song? All right, fair enough. It's still shit. You've said bad 3 times. Still shit. Sorry. I'm going to bring Josh in. Josh doesn't have a camera. Josh, I hope you're there. I've talked to him in the chat a few times. He is. Here he is. You know what? It's a bit weird that you've got a Dash picture. Just realised. I've literally just.
I put that on. Yeah, I put that on.
I've seen your Dash picture for ages. I've only just realised, like, okay, no,
put that on today.
But yeah, I'll edit Jackson's picture over it. No, what really? But yes, Josh, I called you Liam. Then apologies. Thoughts on the game, mate?
Well, I watched it on a totally legal stream, so you know.
Yes, sir.
But it was brilliant. Yeah, first half was quiet, but I thought they were just tired, and like you say, J-Rod looked a bit off. But then afterwards, it came out that he had an injury, so Jackson.
Oh, is that? So I've not seen that. Is it?
So
okay, I didn't know that.
Jackson said that both him and Lennon had an injury, and he basically decided that it was going to be split between them. So he's going to put J-Rod on, then put Lennon on, or the other way around, because neither could do the full 90.
Okay.
He looks like he's just trying to conserve them for later games, and it seems the same with Cornet. But I'm more concerned about Cornet because Cornet wasn't on the bench either. He was just
You know what? Cornet is a weird one because people were saying that he limped off against Southampton.
He did, yeah. I saw it.
When I looked at it, I just thought he looked knackered. I didn't think, he's limping because he's injured. But obviously that is the case now. But there's been no news about it, has there?
No, yeah, like he didn't mention it in the press conference the other day that Cornet was injured, but he did limp off, and I hope that's just exhaustion. He didn't look in any pain. He looked smiley.
Yeah, I agree with that. You were saying earlier on chat that your mic was good. Your mic is very good. You sound very clear, Josh. Very, very clear. You've got a very good microphone. There's a Forest fan in the chat. You know what? I've seen the name True Red a few times, and I just thought you're a Man United or Liverpool fan. Hopefully, we'll play you next season. First game of the season, Burnley versus Forest. You know what? My first away game that I remember, I've been on a few before then. I've been to Blackpool loads of times. Blackpool's like a thing that I used to do when I was a kid, but I don't really remember him. There's pictures of me at Bloomfield Road, but I don't remember him. The first away game that I remember was Forest at the City Ground. We played them. I think we went 1-0 up and they equalised in like 2001. So when I was resigned to relegation, I was gutted that Forest were doing well because my only saving grace was, I can go to Forest again next season. I kind of like Forest. Don't know why. I'll probably hate them if they come up because they'll fucking go above us and they'll start pissing me off. But I kind of like Forest. So I was gutted that we were going down and they were going up. But hopefully Forest come up if we stay up. And we can play them next season. So it'll be a good one.
I like Forest. Yeah,
I like Forest. But you mentioned Jay Rodriguez there. Obviously, that kind of explains what we were saying earlier about the his poor performance. But we were a little bit poor on the wings, weren't we? But that kind of
left wing, left wing for sure.
Even Dwight was very good today, I thought, but we were too narrow. But I think that's part of Jackson's plan, because it seemed a bit too obvious at times. It seemed a bit too obvious at times how narrow we were. I think Jimmy mentioned it earlier, or Dan, I can't remember. Somebody mentioned it earlier, but we were very, very narrow. And I just wanted people on the wings to stretch it. But obviously it's worked in the end, so I'm buzzing with that. But it seems like that might be a bit of his plan.
I think the right idea, though, is you can't really score from the wide areas. And we have so much height in Tarkowski and Collins. And Pope is obviously brilliant at receiving the ball at crosses. So I think it makes sense in the sense that just let them cross it. If we've got Collins, Tarky and Pope in the middle, one of them's going to grab it or one of them's going to get a foot and clear it because that's what we're very good at. So I understand it to that extent, but obviously it's harder for us to push down the wings. Yeah.
I do like an early. I'm one of them. I like an early crossing to box. Don't know, even that. I filmed a few. I tried to film a vlog again today because I've done one. I've not done one for a while. And there's on one of the clips. If I put the clip in the video, I don't know. It might be a shit clip. I remember like Charlie Taylor had it, and he was deep as fuck. Dead in the box. I just love it early. I think that's my Daesh years though, from when we were good on the Daesh. Actually, I do want to talk about Daesh actually, because you're new to the channel. I've seen your name in the chat a few times. You seem quite articulate though. I do like your voice. I don't know if it's just your voice or your microphone, but you do seem like quite articulate. What were your thoughts on the Daesh sacking at the time? I've just asked it, Mike, as a neutral, but I'll ask it you. And what are your thoughts on it now?
My thoughts haven't really changed on it. So I was annoyed on it. I was angry. Not necessarily because we weren't playing like we were playing great under Dyche and we were going to stay up. No, after the Norwich game, I thought we were going down. We all did.
Yeah.
But for me, to sack Dyche at that point is wrong, considering what he's done for the club. I would rather have been in the Championship under Dyche and have that story and have something to be able to not actually be proud of, but like it's the story of our club, isn't it? We've got the Ginger
Yeah.
Mourinho, and we play anti-football, and everyone hates us. That's what we are. That's our identity. So for me,
Yeah.
I kind of said, like, if we stay up, we go down under Dyche. I don't really mind as long as it's our club and it's ours. And I still live by that. I don't think it's the right like at the time. I don't think that's the right decision. Like 8 games to go, change a manager and have no one else to come in. It's just insanity. Obviously, it's paid off, but like fair play for Pace for having the balls, because he knew that it was going to piss off the
he's
fans.
got big bollocks. He has got big bollocks.
Like when people say that, oh, like Pace doesn't know what he's doing, it really annoys me, because like he ran Salt Lake City, like, because I'm sure you looked into him as well as many people did when he came in.
Yeah.
He ran Salt Lake City in 2008 and within a season got them to winning the MLS title. That's something. He's made his money in sports businesses. He's got people on his board who've worked for like the Red Sox in baseball, all of those sorts of things. Like our board is stacked with people who know sports businesses. Obviously Americans, but still they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we have to be concerned about, our owners, is not what they can do in way of how to run the business, but just the money aspect, which we'll find out more within the next week. But
yeah, the accounts come out this week, don't they? Yeah, the accounts come out this week or next week. Yeah. It's interesting. So, you've mentioned a lot of Alan Pace there and a lot about the Americans. What are your thoughts on the takeover and how it's been done, or how it's reported to have been done? It probably has been done like that. Let's be honest. I think a lot of us know a lot of stuff. But what are your thoughts on him and the takeover?
Somewhat worrying, but I'm not too concerned, because it's just like taking a mortgage out on a house, just
exactly
on a bigger scale.
I agree. People see debt and they shit themselves. Like, debt isn't always a bad thing. If debt is manageable, and all right, in the Championship it might not be manageable, but we'll never know until we go down. Hopefully we don't. Then debt isn't always a bad thing. If it's manageable, then it is a good thing. Like you say, a mortgage. Like, if you can get a mortgage out of that mortgage manageable, it's good, because you'll eventually have this house to pay off. I'm pointing at my own house because I've got a mortgage, but
Exactly,
you'll have that house exactly to pay off, and then you're in a good position in 15, 20 years or however long your mortgage is. So debt isn't always a bad thing. But yeah, I agree with that.
And even if we went down, supposedly there's a buyback clause for Garlic, who is, as much as he underinvested, that was more because he was selling the club, didn't want to lose the money. And I think if he bought it back, which he don't know, he's a Burnley fan, I think he'd cover the debt. And even then, parachute payments, it's only 60 million. Parachute payments are sorted out, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's the first 2 years you get quite a bit, and then the next 2 years after. I don't know if it's still that. It was that a few years ago, but it's like fucking 20 million for the first 2 years or whatever. And then that 10 million for 5 million after that. So it gets. I thought if we went down, it'd be a case of they'd shit themselves, put all the money into the club for the first year, try and get back up, and then if it didn't, maybe shit themselves and
Like a
get out.
derby,
But, yeah. But obviously, you don't necessarily want to go down there. But fingers crossed, we don't have to go down that route. I'm going to ask you one more question before I bring everyone else back in, because I don't want to go too much into the Pace thing, because it's quite it divides opinion a bit.
It's a rabbit hole,
yeah, it's a rabbit hole. It divides opinion, and I want this to be sort of like a positive sort of like streaming podcast.
Good day.
Yeah. So obviously we're out of the relegation zone for the first time since October. Everton have lost. Frank Lampard is on my TV behind me now, crying. Everton, they're gonna be shitting themselves, aren't they? Because I think what's she called, Natalie Bromley from the other podcast, the No Name Ever podcast, she was on BBC recently, and she summed it up perfectly. She said, Everton haven't been in this position before, so they're going to be nervous. We know how to get out of this. And I agree with that fully. And I think the pressure now is 100% on Everton and on Leeds, even though Leeds it's not as big of a pressure as it is on Everton. The fact that they've got so many points and they've not been in this position before, I think both of them teams are going to be shitting themselves. So do you think we can stay up?
Yeah, just from looking at their like, I've looked at their 2 Twitters the past few days. They're little, like, we have ours, they have theirs. Their fans are shitting it. They're shitting.
Yeah, you know what? I've noticed Leeds fans are quite nervous. I didn't think they'd be as nervous, but Leeds fans are very, very
Only 2
nervous.
points, and then, like you say, they're running to hell. I saw that I was like, what's Leeds running the other day? I checked it. I was like, oh, this is way bigger than everyone thinks it is. 100% we stay up now. Like,
Yeah,
all we have
100%.
to,
That's a
all we
big
have
call,
to,
mate.
all we have to do is beat Watford. Like someone said the other
Yeah,
day,
I agree.
6 points out of those threes, and we stay up. And I'm like, nah. If we play our game, we can get all 9. We got Wolves today, which was the hardest game out of all 3. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. That is 100% the hardest
Now,
game. My only worry with Watford is that they still might think they've got. I think they're down now. I think our results today has killed them, but
have
I
you seen
think
their
they
home
might still
form?
think they've got a chance. I know, but did you see Newcastle's own form before we played them? Did you see Brentford's own form before we played them? You know what I
Fair,
mean? It's
yeah.
one of them. But this is a new Burnley. This is a resurgent Burnley.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
if it is on the Super Six next week, I will probably put 2-0 Burnley. I will probably put 2-0 Burnley.
Yeah, I think we get all 9. I think we stay. If we beat Watford 3 points next week, we're no chance we drop.
Yeah,
I think at that point we're safe.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the stream because obviously you're on the microphone. You haven't got the cam. But Matt Lowcock says, I wouldn't say 100%. We need to do more than beat Watford. I agree with you, Matt. We need to beat Watford and then carry it on. But I see what Josh is saying is if we beat Watford, then you can't really go on then and then lose loads of
What?
games and shit,
34
can you?
points? 34 points? Get a point
I
or
think
two against
37.
them.
I think 37 keeps us up. I think 37 keeps it up. I can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
Leeds
I
winning.
agree with that.
I can't. Leeds maybe. Everton are on 29 now. Couldn't Everton? I can't remember Everton's running. I don't want to bring it up too much because I did it a lot on the last stream. But
Chelsea's next.
Everton, yeah, Chelsea's next. I think that's massive, because I do think they can beat Chelsea. But
Same.
Chelsea's away form is class. Chelsea are actually better away than they are at home, as I said
Yeah.
earlier. So, yeah, it's massive. It is massive. Right, Josh, you were actually a very good guest. I enjoyed that, man. You were very, very good for someone who doesn't have a webcam and stuff. I really, really enjoyed that. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring everyone back in first before I ask this question. So, Jimmy, you're coming back in. Dan, you're back in. Can I fit 5 on screen? Hopefully I can.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very good, but 5 is on screen. There you go. Everybody get your comments in as well, because I want all the people commenting that are watching. We've still got 50 people watching. I'm going to wrap it up now. I told the missus it'll only be about an hour. I've been 50 minutes, so we need to wrap it up soon. But man of the match shouts. I'll just go in order of what's on screen. I thought Torquay was class. So I think I'm probably going to go Torquay. I can see an argument for both people in the middle. I can see an argument for Dwight. I can see another argument for Roberts. I can kind of see an argument for Vout, but I think he probably maybe if he'd have scored, he'd have got on. I thought Vidra, apart from his goal, wasn't great, but I don't think anybody on the wings was great, apart from Dwight. So Josh, I'm going to go to you first. Man of the match, and obviously before Josh gives a shout, get your comments in. Who do you think was the man of the match? But Josh, go.
Andy Robertson. No, Collins, to be honest. He's 20 years old and he's doing what he's doing. He made a few mistakes, but he covered every single one. I think give him 5 years, he's going to be our captain. 100%, he's going to be our captain.
Yeah, fingers crossed he's still here. I think we're going to struggle to keep hold. If we went down, I do think we'll struggle to keep hold of him.
Well, we know about if going down.
Yeah, if we stay in the Premier League, I think we'll be all right. But he'd like me and was it Jimmy, Dan? I can't remember. We were saying he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. He is class. Honestly, mate, you're probably spot on with that. There's a few people coming in for Collins. BFC Liam 1 says Torquay or Dwight. Mickey Pollard says Collins or Roberts. Sean Barnes says Cork. I kind of agree with Cork. Even though I've gone for Torquay, I can 100% see the argument for Cork. He's been sensational since coming back in. Matt Lowcock says Vidra Port, other than the goal, not Premier League class. Better when comes on and everyone's fucked. And then he says Cork after that. And Alfie Robertson says Collins unreal. Keep the comments coming in. The next person on screen to vote man of the match is Jimmy. Your thoughts, man of the match?
Cork. Simple.
Cork, yeah, fair enough. It's honestly, because like me and you were saying earlier, it's been such a shame that West has had to basically bend his ankle, dislocate his ankle. Well, it's looking like a dislocation. I can tell you now, it's a dislocation and a small break. But it's such a shame that that's had to happen for Cork to come in.
It seems like Cork and Brownhill win the 50-50s more often than Westy did.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
No, I agree. I think they're better at breaking the play down. I think they're both better at breaking the play down than what Westy is. But Westy was more of a ball player, but I think he's kind of lost that recently. Whether he gets that back or not, I'm not sure. Whether it was just because he had to do it, lump it into the channels for Daesh football, again, I'm not sure. Mike, I know you didn't watch it all, so I'm going to ask you anyway. You've watched the highlights, you've spoken to people, you've listened to a bit of commentary. Who's your man of the match?
There's only one being Welsh, Connor Roberts. Robert Hanley
Fair
on.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, he played well. He did play well. It was.
He actually
I
played
gave
well.
Roberts.
I'm not just saying it
Yeah.
because well, I can actually warrant saying it this time.
He played well. He played better, in my opinion, against Southampton. But you know, I thought he was good today. He's been so much better since Dyche left. I'll be honest. And finally, Dan, man of the match.
I'm going to go Jack Cork as well. I thought Jack Cork was solid, and he even had a chance to get him forward on the ball a few times, but shot himself because he thought,
he does he's not. He's not.
He's like, no, I'll sit deep.
Yeah.
It's my job to sit deep.
Yeah.
Somebody move. Somebody take the ball from my feet. But everything he did today was class. As I say, everybody's shout has been pretty well spoken for. Tarky were massive today. Cut out some very dangerous chances for the opposition. So yeah, between Tarky and Cork, but Cork just edged it for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I thought Cork was class, so I completely agree with everything that you've been saying. Like I said, I'd have gone for Tarky, but Collins, he does get better every game, as someone just said in the chat. The Shadow Gamer, he says Collins gets better game by game. When he's older, he will be starting for a top 5 Prem team. Yeah, he's going to be class. He's going to be a rock solid person at the back for Burnley for however long he wants to be here, and Ireland as well. Ireland could do very, very well under him. Matt Lowcock says, that Roberts block/tackle in the second half. There was a few though, weren't there? There was a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, boys, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. We've had quite a few guests today. It's always better when Burnley win. More people want to come on when Burnley win, and I appreciate that. Mickey Pollard says, great show today, Joe and guests. Been good to listen. Thanks. Just before I do go, and boys, I'll just remove you all now, but I will chat to you all afterwards to say thanks and all that. Just before I do go, if you are just joining the stream and you've missed the first 55 minutes of it, it stays on YouTube, so you can watch it again at your leisure. And if you're more of a podcast person and you want to listen to it on the drive to work tomorrow, it's only about, like I said, a 55-minute podcast. I do put it on the podcast app as well, so that will be available on there as well. But thanks very much, everybody, for coming on the show. All the guests, thanks very much, everybody watching. Thanks very much, everybody who has been commenting as well. Quickly, I've just seen a comment. That's why I got sidetracked. Has anybody heard anything about a new manager? No, basically. No, nothing yet. It's looking like it's going to be Jackson to the end of the season. Why would you upset the apple cart now? Why would you upset the apple cart now? He's got 7 points out of 9. He's won 2 games out of 3. It'd be silly to get rid of him now and bring in, I don't know, Big Sam or Wilder. You know, I'm just as an example. So it would be silly to get rid of him. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. The True Red says Everton equals ever gone. Maybe Leeds. I think Leeds might be in trouble. But thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening. And hopefully we'll see you for the Watford pre-game show. If not, I'll see you for the Watford post-game show. Cheers.